Hey LawTube viewers, thanks for watching Law News on LawTube. Please subscribe LawTube and press the bell icon to never ever miss a video from LawTube. To begin with the first law news, Justice Gupta stressed the need for the bar to be humane. Lawyers have to first be a good human being. You have to be sensitive to everyone's problem. When we expect a humane judiciary, the bar needs to be humane as well. You cannot charge skyrocketing fee from your client, said Justice Deepak Gupta, Supreme Court judge, in his farewell speech on Wednesday. He said, when a judge sits in court, we have to forget our religious belief and decide cases only on the basis of this constitution, which is our Bible, our Gita, our Quran and Guru Granth Sahib. The constitution is the holy book of the judges, Justice Gupta said, waving a copy of the speech during the farewell ceremony organized by the Supreme Court Bar Association via video conferencing. This is the first video conferencing event held in the history of the Supreme Court to give farewell to a judge. K.K. Venugopal, Attorney General of India, said that Justice Gupta will be remembered for his social justice judgment. Dushyant Dave, senior advocate and president of the Supreme Court Bar Association, stated that the three pillars of the judiciary, integrity, independence and impartiality, were brilliantly exhibited by Justice Deepak Gupta. In the next law news, the Supreme Court bench comprising Chief Justice of India, Justice S.A. Bobde, Justice Deepak Gupta and Justice Hrishikesh Roy on Wednesday extended the limitation period for statutory provisions under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instrument Act 1881 and the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 for a period of 15 days after the lifting of lockdown with effect from March 15 until further orders in wake of COVID-19. Senior advocate Meenakshi Arora referred to an application moved for purpose of extending limitation in terms of statutory requirement under Section 29A of the Arbitration Act, that is, the statutory period within which an arbitral award has to be passed. Advocate Mayank Krishi Sagar appeared for applicant Advocate Sahil Mongia and sought extension of limitation period of 30 days WRT Service of Legal Demand Notice in terms of Section 138B of the Negotiable Instrument Act. The bench also directed Attorney General K.K. Venugopal to file a response to all applications pertaining to the issue of ambit of law in which extension of limitation of time line prescribed in required to be extended. The bench had further stated that the same shall be binding on all courts, tribunals as per Article 141 of the Constitution. In the third law news, the Supreme Court has sentenced 3 lawyers to undergo simple imprisonment for a period of 3 months for contempt of court for raising scurrilous and scandalous allegation against sitting judge of the Supreme Court. The bench comprising Justice Deepak Gupta and Anirudh Bose took up the matter on May 4th for hearing on the sentence. Regarding sentence, none of them were ready to argue on sentence on the ground that the judgment was per incuriam, as they had a right to challenge the same. The court had held Vijay Kurle, State President, Maharashtra and Goa Indian Bar Association, Rashid Khan Patan, National Secretary, Human Rights Security Council and Nilesh Oja, National President, Indian Bar Association, guilty of criminal contempt under the Contempt of Court Act. Hence, they are sentenced to 3 months simple imprisonment and a fine of rupees 2,000 each. The court clarified that the sentence would come into effect after COVID-19 lockdown. Coming to the next news, the Supreme Court held that the cooperative bank cannot carry on any activity without compliance of the provision of the Banking Regulation Act 1949 and any other legislation applicable to such banks related to banking. The Constitution Bench comprising Justice Arun Mishra, Indra Banerjee, Vineet Saran, M. R. Shah, Aniruddha Bose, in this case, also held that cooperative banks are included in the definition of the bank and banking company under Section 2, subsection 1, subclause C and D of the SURFACE Act. The bench observed that in case cooperative banks are kept outside the purview of the Banking Regulation Act 1949, the other legislation under NT 45 and RBI Act, no license can be granted and cooperative bank cannot do banking, as that it is not permissible without compliance of various provisions as provided in the Banking Regulation Act 1949. In another news, Supreme Court held that Order 23 Rule 3A of CPC bars to file separate suit challenging compromise decree applies to stranger also. The Supreme Court bench comprising Justice A.M. Khanwilkar and Ajay Rastogi examined the intent behind amending Order 23 of CPC and held that the bar under Order 23 Rule 3A of CPC to challenge a decree passed on a compromise in a separate suit applies also to the stranger to the proceeding. The issue before the apex court in this appeal was whether the decree passed on compromise can be challenged by the stranger to the proceeding in a separate suit. The contention of the appellant was that provision of Order 23 Rule 3A CPC is applicable only to the parties to the suit and the said provision does not apply to the stranger to the compromise decree. Therefore, the remedy is always open to a stranger to the compromise decree to file a separate suit to ventilate his grievance in the appropriate proceeding. The court noted that in view of the bar contained in Rule 3A, no independent suit can be filed for setting aside a compromise decree on the ground that the compromise was not lawful. A public interest litigation has been filed in the Delhi High Court seeking removal of Zafrul Islam Khan from the post of Chairman Delhi Minorities Commission under Section 4, subsection 4, subclass F of the Delhi Minorities Commission Act 1999. The petition was filed by Mr. Subhash Chandra alleging that Zafrul Khan posted a seditious and hateful comment and post on Facebook. The petition urges that the said post was provocative, deliberate and seditious, intended to cause disharmony and create a rift in the society. So, Law Tube viewers, hope you have enjoyed this law news on Law Tube. If you like, do not forget to like, share and subscribe Law Tube. If you have any comment, you can ask in the comment box below. I will be happy to answer you. See you tomorrow again.